When remembering Sripad Sajjan Maharaj, one word comes to mind. More than anybody else, really. And that's a big thing to say because we know lots of people. But that word is sincerity. I have never seen anyone so obviously sincere as our Sripad Sajjan Maharaj, like genuinely from his heart, like super, super, super simple and sincere in bhakti. So, as you know, he's departed recently, and upon his departure, we begin to remember him because now that's the only way to associate with our Sripad Sajjan Maharaj. And so many stories are now coming to my mind, which I'm hoping to share with you, that illustrates his sincerity and how he was different than other devotees, other Vaishnavas. I want to kind of give you an insight, not just on the philosophy and the theory of what it means to be a Vaishnav that could be applied to anyone, but specifically, who was he as a person? How to know him and what was that speciality? I've known him for over 25 years. The picture behind me, there's him before he was a sannyasi, before he took sannyas, and I'm behind somewhere there in Russia in 2001. And I've known him for a long time, but not from a distance, but as family, as friend, as someone who's like a close family member. So you get to know who they are behind closed doors, the rough sides, the bad sides, and also when there's genuine sincerity, you get to see the genuine. It's not when someone's on stage speaking or performing the role as a Swami, but as a person. I know that a long time ago, he had an accident. I think his car was run over by a FedEx truck or something like that, and he had some severe injuries that came from that. And because of that, sometimes he had some problems with like remembering, and sometimes he would get a little like nervous and jittery. So if you ever felt anything like that, I suggest to forget that, right? Because that was his, that was his physical thing. But I remember my Srila Gurudev was always so strong on learning slokas and memorizing the verses, and he would have all his preachers memorize verses. And for Sajjan Maharaj, it was really difficult because of the accidents. And a lot of also, when you're older in age, right, a lot of them say, okay, well, I understand the philosophy and I speak nicely. But even for years and years and years, he would have this little notebook, and he would have the slokas memorized, and he would be trying to memorize slokas all the way for like in his old age, when he really didn't need it, when he was very good at giving classes, but he was always still trying to memorize the verses, trying to memorize the Shastra, because that's what Srila Gurudev wanted. He was also a paramedic previously before, and for doing that, he knew how to do intravenous injections. With our Srila Gurudev, he would sometimes do chelation, was a therapy with like these IV therapies for cleaning the blood of Srila Gurudev. And Sajjan Maharaj was a medical professional, so he would do that with Gurudev, and he would have to sit there for a few hours alone with our Srila Gurudev. So when he was giving this therapy to Srila Gurudev, one time Srila Gurudev asked him, "Can you speak some Harikatha for me?" Nobody was there. There wasn't a crowd. It was just them two sitting and Gurudev taking the intravenous injections. And then Sajjan Maharaj told me this story, how he told a beautiful story of Radha and Krishna, like some really rasik Harikatha, to Srila Gurudev, and Gurudev was just sitting there and listening to the Harikatha. So when Maharaj told me this, I was thinking, well, this is so much the glory of our Srila Gurudev, how he's Pritishtas Vishatis Dale Shaktista Gunakyane, one of the definitions of someone who's attached to bhakti, or who has the stage of bhava, is they're very attached to hearing Harikatha. So I used to think of this as the glory of Srila Gurudev, how he was even wanting to hear Harikatha from anyone while he's getting his medical treatments, while he's in that time. But now it kind of just hit upon me that it's actually so much a glory of Sripad Sajjan Maharaj, how Srila Gurudev was wanting to hear Harikatha or hear stories from Krishna from Sripad Sajjan Maharaj for his own happiness, not to entertain a crowd, not just as part of it, but like Gurudev generally wanted to hear that. And I traveled with Gurudev for decades. I used to massage Gurudev. I was his personal cook. And I've never seen him do that with anyone. In any time, I've never seen Srila Gurudev just alone say, speak Harikatha, I want to hear Harikatha, just in private, closed doors. I haven't seen him do briefly with bhajans. When we were in Hawaii, he had Bhava Tarini and her husband. They played beautiful guitar, and Gurudev was like, oh, sing some bhajans for me. So they were sitting there doing bhajans, and Gurudev was singing there, and he looked at me, he's like, play mridanga, and I took the mridanga, and I played. And then she said, oh, Gurudev, can you sing one? And Srila Gurudev, he sang, Nitai Pada Kamala, like this. And and then I got to play mridanga for a few seconds with Srila Gurudev. So I've seen like once or twice, maybe with kirtan, maybe with bhajan, but generally behind closed doors, my Srila Gurudev, he would have his own bhajan where he would be chanting, go super deep. And this is not a class about that, otherwise maybe another time I can explain how Srila Gurudev was behind closed doors. But I've never seen him ask anyone, you speak Harikatha for me? I want to just sit and listen and take it in for my spiritual life. But Srila Gurudev did with Sripad Sajjan Maharaj. And we know that, for example, in India, there's many professional Harikatha speakers or Bhagavad reciters. They could speak the verses nicely, and they know how to tell the stories. It's very skilled in that. And our Vaishnavas explain that this is sarpochista. If they have lust, anger, and greed, if they don't have love inside of their heart, then it's like a snake who's drank milk, and you're drinking that milk. But if you're drinking the milk from the snake from the leftover milk from a snake bite, then it's got poison in it, and it's no good. So our acharyas, they cringe, they stand away, they don't like to hear Harikatha from someone who's pretentious, from someone who doesn't have a pure heart. This also goes the same for kirtan, for music. It's not just enough to be musical performance. There also has to be a mood and a purity behind it, and that's what attracts the heart. And I could speak for a few hours on why that is and how we've experienced that with the Vaishnavas. So for the fact that Srila Gurudev wanted to hear Sripad Sajjan Maharaj speak stories of Radha and Krishna, this is glory of who Sripad Sajjan Maharaj was. He was always so sincere. Whenever I had some idea of, I want to do this type of innovative preaching project or something, he would take me to the side, quietly says, can I sponsor? Don't tell anyone that I give you any money, but can I give some donation to kind of help with your preaching program like this? He was always super, super sincere. Another time, I remember before he was taking sannyas, we were in Navadvip Parikram. This was before we had our big Shri Keshavji Gaudiya Math Navadvip temple when we were in Devananda Gaudiya Math. And our Srila Gurudev was doing parikram there, and he wanted to give sannyas, and he was thinking of maybe giving Sajjan Maharaj sannyas too. And Gurudev said, I won't give him this year because he still has some tail attached to him. And then I remember Sajjan Maharaj, very sincerely, he went to Gurudev. He says, I don't really want sannyas, but I do want my tail cut. Can you tell me how to cut my tail? Like can you please cut my tail? And then Sri Gurudev looked at him very seriously, and then a few days later gave him sannyas. Tail meaning, Gurudev said the tail was a previous attachment to his family, because he was a father. He had kids like that, and sannyas is detached, is broken away from mundane family, and the family is our Srila Gurudev and is the Vaishnavas like this, which kind of brings me to what I'm trying to share at this point, is that with the in-crowd, I guess you can say, with Srila Gurudev, there was this family connection with the Vaishnavas. And a lot of times when we see, for example, an Indian devotee, because we don't understand their English very well, and they know the Sanskrit very nicely, and in Indian culture it's very strong to have like that guru culture, so they could be very strong in preaching. Sometimes Indian Vaishnavas are very much idealized as better than the Western Vaishnavas, because it's also their culture and they grew up in it and things like that. But I've been very fortunate that since childhood, I grew up speaking the Indian languages, Hindi and Bengali and English, and knowing the Vaishnavas not from a distance, but knowing them as a family, like behind closed doors, living with them in the same rooms over many decades. So I know the Indian Swamis and the Vaishnavas as well as I know Sripad Sajjan Maharaj and the other Vaishnavas. And Sripad Sajjan Maharaj was so advanced. He was so sincere all the time. I remember in Puri, Parikram, Srila Gurudev, he said that there's this one well, Paramananda Koop, and in this well, the well of Paramananda Puri, says if anyone drinks water from this well, they're going to get bhakti, for sure, definitely, bhakti must come. So then Sajjan Maharaj, when he took a bottle of this water, and for years and years later, when everyone forgot that that's what Srila Gurudev said, he took the water from the well, he'd have little bits, and he would go around, and if there was like a festival, and devotees would put like one drop of that well in the festival so that all the devotees could get some bhakti like this, or he would meet people, and whenever he comes, oh, here, take some water. Like any excuse, he would be giving them that water without them knowing, without anyone knowing what the well was from, but he was just like, to be able to help them on his bhakti. He was always, he's like so sincere for helping. When he was a paramedic also, sometimes he would come to like a car crash and people would be dead or dying, and he would hold them and then he would chant Hare Krishna in their ears, or he'd have some Vrindavan dust and he would give them some mercy like this before when they have when they're dying in their last moments like this. He was like such a like authentic, genuine, sincere devotee. Like I don't say this lightly. I've said it multiple times in this broadcast. It's not a light thing. The humility that he had and the sincerity for actually caring about bhakti and not really caring about anything else. Like like I've known him for 25 years, right? Lived with him and I've had fights with him. I'm not trying to put him on a pedestal or just trying to give generic blanket, glorification. Oh, sincere, humble, like this. Like seriously, super, super sincere. I remember with Brajanath Prabhu actually. One time we were talking, I forget what we were talking about. It was like some event or some program, and it was about Sajjan Maharaj or something, and he was like, Sajjan Maharaj is more qualified. And I said, well, I don't want to judge the qualities of any devotees. And Bharjat says, well, I know, Sajjan Maharaj is much more advanced than that other devotee, no doubt. And this actually reminds me of Sajjan Maharaj. He's disciple of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Our Srila Gurudev, disciple of Bhakti Pragan Keshav Maharaj, who's a god brother of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So Gurudev would often treat the sannyasis as his Gurujan, or people in the same generation, as his Gurudev. So Gurudev would give extra respect like this. So according to Ayurveda, you take oil and you rub it on your body, abhyanga. It's a very important health thing. I do it regularly. Srila Gurudev would do twice a day. So we would massage Gurudev every day, and when we were young children with us massaging Srila Gurudev, this was very beautiful and no problem. And Sripad Sajjan Maharaj, he would want to come and massage Srila Gurudev, and Gurudev would be like, no, you can't touch me. You're my Gurujan. You are my more advanced than me. You're not allowed to massage me like this. I can't accept this service from you. But then so then Sajjan Maharaj would come and he would just sit there and he would watch while we were massaging Srila Gurudev, and you could see he had this desire, because he didn't see himself like that. He saw himself as Gurudev's servant. He said he had this desire to massage. And then I remember after a few months, then Srila Gurudev would let him massage. He wouldn't let any other Prabhupada disciples massage him. But then Sajjan Maharaj would come and also massage his feet and do something. Gurudev would like, okay, I'll let him, because his love and his bhakti transcends the rules and regulations and the principles, and he wants to do this service, and I have to give him that opportunity, which is a sign of intimacy. Many of us don't know that, like in the Indian culture and in the Vedic culture and the Vaishnava culture, there's this very strong maryada, or rules and regulations. There's this very strong way in which you must interact. For example, Lakshman was the younger brother of Ram. So then Ram says, take my wife who's pregnant and have her go live in the forest with the sadhus. Lakshman, because he's the younger brother, he has to follow. He can't break those rules and regulations. So there's these very strict codes of conduct. But one of the beauties of our bhakti philosophy is we say that love has the ability to be able to transcend these codes of contact. So in the beginning, you start, following the rules and regulations, proper codes and contact. But when the relationship goes deeper, these maryada, the codes of contact, begin to go away. We don't follow those things as much because love transcends it. And this is what Raganuga Bhakti is. You have Vaidhi Bhakti, which is these are the rules and regulations. Then you have Raganuga, says my love is too much and I'm going to break the rules because of love. Like, the classic lady who was eating the fruits with Ram. Normally, when you're going to offer something to a respectful person, you clean everything. There's very strong cleanliness and mantras for offering. But she was eating one side of the fruit to make sure it's sweet before giving it to Ram. And this is because her love knew much more than the rules and regulations. So in the same way, you have Srila Gurudev breaking the rules and regulations, letting Sripad Sajjan Maharaj massage him. Why? Because the love was so high, because the love was so deep, was able to transcend proper ways of doing. He would not let anyone else see. This is secret, right? Other people can't see this. But that love was so much greater, which indicates how great Sripad Sajjan Maharaj was. So in this time, we remember our Vaishnavas. It's actually very sad to think how they say, Akshno phalam tadrisha darshanam hi, jiva phalam tadrisha kirtanam hi. That the whole, like if you have a tree, why are you going to have a tree? Well, the reason why you're going to have a tree is because the tree gives fruits. And so there's the fruit of the tree. So that's the point, the whole point of the whole thing. So there's my favorite verse. It says, well, what's the point of having eyes? What's the reason to have eyes? And this Akshno-phalam tadrisha darshanam, to be able to see the Vaishnava is the only point of having eyes, or it's the fruit of having one's eyes. And then it said, Tanufam tadrisha gatra sangina, that the purpose of having a body is to be able to touch the feet of the Vaishnavas, or to be able to embrace the Vaishnavas, to be able to have physical contact. Or like me, I had a very strong relationship with Gurudev, massaging him every day, like this, through that physical connection. And jivapulam tadrisha kirtananghi, the purpose of one's tongue is to glorify the Vaishnavas, is to say the beautiful things. So now when the Vaishnavas leave, like Sripad Sajjan Maharaj, also recently Sripad Sridandi Maharaj, all Vaishnavas are going, Avadut Maharaj also left, Krishnadas Prabhu left, Tirtha Maharaj left, the whole old crowd, or the whole old group, they're gone. And it's sad, but how are we going to have our eyes and our mouth and our body be fruitful? Well, the only one left is Kirtananghi, is to be able to speak about them. And we know, as from our Vaishnavas, is by speaking and also hearing and having our ears hear about the Vaishnavas. This is sometimes even stronger, or a lot of times more important than the physical darshan or the physical context. There's that famous story of our Srila Gurudev when he was a young brahmachari. He was giving class in the temple. He was a new devotee at that time, and he was talking, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said this, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur this, and that. And in the class and in the people, there was many disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And they were like, they went to Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, and they said, he hasn't even seen Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he's speaking like he's an authority on Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And Srila Gurudev said, yes, you saw him by eyes, but I saw him by ears, and seeing him by ears is better than seeing him by eyes. So in the same way, now we don't have the physical association of so many Vaishnavas, which is extremely sad, but we can hear, like we're doing right now in this moment, we can speak, and this can all often create a deeper connection. And that's really the whole point. We say a viraha mahotsav. Mahotsav means a festival, a joyous thing. Viraha means separation. Viraha means pain. Viraha means suffering. Raha means to live or to be close. Vi means to not. So to be separate, a separation festival. But we know that all the pain in existence, they say, Vaishnava virhara dukkha Saptika Bharaduk. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, I believe Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Rupa Goswami was asked, what is the biggest pain in life? And the answer was, the biggest pain in love is the viraha, or the separation from a Vaishnava. That's the biggest pain that anyone can experience. So why have a festival about this pain? Is this pain has a purpose. The purpose is to purify us. Like another one, our Sripad Srimati Umadidi, who's left us, she would give this beautiful example. It's like if you have a courtyard and there's all these leaves that are fallen, and you want to clean that courtyard, what do? You take a broom, you sweep all the leaves in one pile, and you light them on fire, and you burn the leaves, and then it purifies, and there's no more dirty leaves. So the purpose of bhakti, in one sense, you could say, is to clear the heart. Cheto darpana marjanam bhava mahadagni nivrapanam is talking about clearing lust, anger, greed, anarthas from our heart, so that we can be have the true, pure nature of our heart, not covered by all the muck, and the muck is what's keeping us separate from Krishna, so we can be close to Krishna. So the process of bhakti is to purify the heart like this. So when we're purifying the heart, viraha is a very extremely powerful, you can say, soap or agent for clearing this heart. It's like a fire that burns everything, burns our anarthas away. In the pain of separation is when we begin vishesh rupa raha, or raha means to live or to be close. In a special way, be close. A special type of connection. Even when when Krishna was performing Ras Leela with the gopis, he had the first gopis, when they're first liberated like this, he's playing his flute and then calling the gopis to come. And when the gopis are trying to come, there'll be, for some group of gopis, their family member will stop them and say, no, where are you going, like, young lady? Where are you going in the middle of the night? Like this. And they could not go, but Krishna is calling. So there's this strong attachment of wanting to be with Krishna, but not being able to be with Krishna. That pain of separation killed them, actually. They died in separation, and in their subtle form, they were able to go and meet with Krishna. So our Vaishnavas describe that this was the last purification that Krishna was doing to purify the hearts of the gopis in order for them to be qualified to be with Krishna. But it's in a sense, you could say Krishna has like this grand scheme or this grand plan of how can we come to him. And he's always, he's always sending people that are near and dear to be able to attract us with his pastimes and with speaking Harikatha and being able to bring us close. So he's got, and Krishna's God, I don't explain too much, it's another class, right? But it's basically Paramatma is controlling everything, the sun rising, the sun setting, the tides of the ocean, and everything that happens in life is controlled by Paramatma. This Paramatma is Guru Tattva, the Chaitya Guru, or the Guru of inside of the heart, which is Nityananda Prabhu, which is also the Vaishnavas. It's the same Tattva, the same energy that controls every blade of grass moving in the world. Is all Gurudev. It's all Vaishnavas. It's all Krishna having this grand scheme for trying to bring us to him, to try to bring us close to him. And he has many tricks. So like they say, atato brahma jigyasa, that you start performing spiritual life after. And therefore, after what? After you've been slapped and after you've been suffering so much in this material world, then you say, okay, I've had enough. I want to come to Krishna. So that suffering is part of the tools. Another tool is like, the great saint in South India, he was attracted to a prostitute. So wherever he was walking, he was just like walking behind and just like looking at her. So she goes to the temple to take darshan. It seems like there's disconnected on this camera, but this camera is still going, so we're going to continue going. So the sadhu, he's not a sadhu yet. He's like, I'm seeing this beautiful lady, and I'm just going to look at this. And he has his back to the deity, and he's just looking at the girl. The pujari says, what are you doing, stupid man? Why have you have your back to the deity? And he says, she is the most beautiful thing that I have seen, and therefore I'm looking at her. He says, okay, well, I'll show you something even more beautiful. Come at Mangalarti time, and then you have the beautiful deity with the big, beautiful eyes with the ghee lamp in the morning and being attracted like this. And the sadhu saw and actually became a great acharya in South India. He gave up the prostitute, obviously, and became a great Vaishnav like this because he was attracted by the beauty of the deity. So we have Krishna has so many different tricks to bring us on the path of bhakti. So many different tools in the toolbox. One of the tools is to have very beautiful deities, to have very beautiful music in kirtan, to have very beautiful halava and prashadam, or like the ISKCON bullets they used to call, the gulab jamuns, right? Prashadam, or have a beautiful festival. I remember my Srila Gurudev would have different performers sing, or different performers do different things in the class. And Gurudev said, the reason why I'm doing this is so that everyone says, oh, Narayan Maharaj's classes are so fun, right? And they want to go and create this big festival and social event. And then people come, and then he can give bhakti like this. So many different tricks of being able to feed us bhakti. So one of the more painful tools, but one of the sharper tools in the toolbox of Paramatma, of Gurudev, of Krishna, is the viraha, is this separation, is this feeling of not being connected with Vaishnavas. Because then, like the heart grows fonder in separation, the strong attachment wants us to be there. So honestly, normally on a Saturday, I'm a little bit in Maya. I'm not speaking and remembering the Vaishnavas, but now that Sripad Sajjan Maharaj has left, it's like, oh my gosh, we can't be with him anymore in the physical realm, but he's such an important Vaishnava, someone who's so close to our Srila Gurudev. So we have to remember. And this manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyajivam maskru, the whole purpose of bhakti is to absorb your mind in Krishna. Smartavyo satatam vishnur vismartavyo najatachit, that always remembering Krishna and never forgetting him is the purpose. But Krishna, like, this is another thing. The reason why I like to tell specific stories about Sripad Sajjan Maharaj, about who he was as a person, is because we're not atheists. And what I mean by that is an atheist says there's no God. It's all one. It's all zero. It's non-existence. We say, no, God exists, which means God has individuality. For existing, he has to be individual. He has to be different. If he wasn't individual and different, then you go into Mayavad, or this Brahmavad concept, which then is also kind of atheistic, because then you're God, the table's God, the stone's God, everything's God. It's kind of like you're not giving any speciality to God, whether you're Brahmavad or Mayavad. It's still kind of atheistic in a way. So the theistic thing says God is a person. There's an individuality. There's a uniqueness to God as his individual. Then do you say, well, is God alone? Is he by himself? Does he just sit there and say, I'm God, alone? Kind of lonely, not fun. We know in our philosophy that that's completely not the case. The case with our bhakti is that Krishna has Srimati Radhika, but not just Srimati Radhika. She manifests into Kaya Vyuha Roops, into many, many different forms of gopis. And then there's this Ras Leela, and there's these different rasas and all these different associates. So Krishna is a very social person, right? Krishna is the ultimate origin of all socializing, right? So he has Vaishnavas. He's always associating and always being with Vaishnavas and his personality. That's why Shiva says, Tadyanam Samarchanam, when he's giving Harikatha to Parvati. He's saying that greater than the service of Vishnu is the service of that who is Tadiya, that who is one, that who is the same of Vishnu, someone who's so close and near to Vishnu. And those are the Vaishnavas. Those are the Vaishnavas. That's why, like, Kita Janma Ho, Jota Tuadasa, Bhakta Griha Janma, something. Janma Ho, I forget the exact words. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says, if I am going to die, no problem. If I need to take birth, even in the form of like a bug, like an insect, a fly, a little annoying thing, that's okay. But please let it be in the house of your devotee. Let it be in the house of a Vaishnav so that I can hear your name and be associated with the Vaishnav. So for us, we actually prefer the Vaishnavas, the devotees, more than we prefer Krishna. If Krishna comes, Krishna's everywhere. It's not like he's not here. He's here right now. We're just so dumb when we can't see him, right? He exists in the transcendental realm. So he's ever. Sarva Vyapi Idam Vishnu, the definition of Vishnu is the one who exists everywhere. We just had, maybe you watched the Mahavatar Nrsimha movie, and you can see Vishnu is everywhere. Krishna is inside the pillar in the form of Nrsimhadev. But we don't have the eyes to see Krishna. So what do? Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena. You have to have the eyes of love, the eyes of prema, to be able to see Shri Krishna. But how do you get this prema? Krishna can't give it to us. Krishna's learning what prema is. That's why he comes in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he sees, wow, this love, this prema is so great. I don't understand it, but how's that possible? I'm God. I need to understand everything. So I need to come in the form of a Vaishnava. I need to come in the form of a devotee to understand what love is. So if God himself doesn't know or what this prema or what this love is, then how can he give it to us? He can't give it to us. The only way he can give it to us is to Tavanijajan Kona Mahajan Pataye Diletume, is to have one of his close, near and dear associates and send them to be able to teach us about prem. So for us in this level, and actually eternally, if you look at it, more important than Krishna is his devotees. More important than Krishna is the Vaishnavas, because they have prem, and it's through sadhu sangha, through associating with them, through being connected with them, that their prem can rub off onto us. Like described, if your prem is supposed to be the nature of the heart, but if you have a dry piece of wood, if you have wood by itself, it doesn't catch fire. But if it's in association with another piece of wood on fire, then it can catch on fire. So this is what sadhu sangha is we associate with Vaishnavas so that their bhavs, their mood, their desires, their feelings can rub off onto us, and then that prem can come into our heart. So these times when the Vaishnavas leave us are so sad that the Vaishnavas leave, and how we're going to have the association of our Sripad Sajjan Maharaj, our Tirtha Maharaj, our Tridandi Maharaj, our Vaishnavas that we're giving so much mercy. But it's an opportunity for us, three opportunities, actually maybe many, but three main opportunities. One opportunity is for us, like I said before, for us to remember and to associate by mind like this. Another opportunity it's so sad, right? Another opportunity that we have is to have the pain of separation, burn our anarthas. And then another opportunity is for us to be able to see the other Vaishnavas and say, well, this one left, who's left? Maybe let's go to the Dham right now. Let's go, who else was near and dear and close to Gurudev? Let's associate with them as much as possible, because it is the most rare thing in the world to be able to have sadhu sangha, and the most valuable thing. Some Vaishnavas that are close to Gurudev are still with us, and we pray that birth after birth we can be in the association of Vaishnavas. Otherwise, Brita Janma Galatar, like our life is useless, pointless, meaningless without Vaishnava sadhu sangha. Then, no different than a donkey or an animal just engage in material life. You say, oh, but I'm going to do bhajan. I'm going to chant my japa, and I don't need the Vaishnavas. I'm better. I'm so pure because I have an ego and I think that I'm pure. And that's bollocks. Without the mercy of the Vaishnavas, you'll never be able to chant. You try to chant Krishna, you can't chant Krishna. You'll give up soon. Like this. It's by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, by the association, by doing seva of the Vaishnavas, then you have the ability to chant. This is the reason why you take initiation. Right? The mantras, you can look them up in a book ahead of time, but you won't have the power. But when the Vaishnavas speak the mantras, then the power of their mantras gets transferred in your heart. This is Guru Diksha. This is the process of initiation. But then you say, okay, well, I already got initiated, so now I got the mantra from Gurudev, I can chant, I don't need these Vaishnavas. Also a very stupid idea. Because Divya Jnanam Tato Dadyat, the purpose of Diksha is to realize Divya, like shining is one translation for Divya, transcendental, bright knowledge, to that to come in the heart. But if you don't have bhakti, if you don't have love inside of your heart, then how is it coming? Right? How is it coming? It's not coming. So do we understand that Diksha is a process? Diksha is not a one-time event. It's a process. And that process is a continual process of hearing from the Vaishnavas and associating with the Vaishnavas to be able to give that Divya Gyan in your heart. So we need the Vaishnavas to chant. Otherwise we have kanishta, right? We don't have nishta. We don't have firm, established faith in chanting. Then you say, well, what if I have nishta? Well, if you have nishta, then you're an advanced devotee, and the only thing you want is to associate with Vaishnavas like this, because that's the only thing. You don't care about anything else. Sadhu Sangha is everything. That's attracting the heart. Then you say, well, what if I'm a prema, right? What if I'm even above being a Madhyamadikari, an Uttamadikari? Then you're going to go in Vrindavan with Radha and Krishna and all the gopis and all the Sakhi Sangini Vasinim and all the Vaishnavas. Those are Vaishnavas, and you want to be associating like that. And if Krishna is alone without Srimati Radhika, we say, Jahi Madhava Jahi Ke. Like, we don't care about that Krishna. We don't want Krishna alone. None of our temples have Krishna by himself. If they do, then they have a secret form of Radhika, like a small version of Radhika. We never just say Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. We say Hare Krishna, Radha Krishna. Krishna in association, Krishna in relationship. So if we think of this world as a school of how to exist in that world is all about love and relationship. So then in this world, we also have love and relationship. And how do we do that? We start doing that with Vaishnavas. How do we do that with Vaishnavas? Dadati patriginnati guhuyamakati prachati. In this Upadeshamrita explaining, you give gifts, you receive gifts. You open your heart and confidence, revealing your heart like this. Like I told you, that story of Sripad Sajjan Maharaj speaking Harikatha to Srila Gurudev and Gurudev asking to hear it in private. I don't know if that's a publicly known story. He told me that privately, in confidence. It's this heart connection, relationship. Gurudev also having that opening heart and confidence. And that doesn't mean necessarily, speaking about your trauma and your childhood and how you didn't get enough cookies when you were young or something like that. It's much more about what are the bhavs or what are the moods inside of your heart? What is the secret emotions, right? And this is revealed so much in Harikatha when Vaishnavas are speaking like this. And then feeding Vaishnavas and being fed by Vaishnavas like this. This is sadhu sangha. So now very difficult for us to do this sadhu sangha physically with all the Vaishnavas leaving. So we take advantage of the Vaishnavas that are here to be able to engage in sadhu sangha. And then we have to, in a sense, mature in our bhakti. Gurudev would say, don't remain kanishta. Don't remain on this, lower stages of bhakti. We've got to advance in bhakti and learn how can we connect with Gurudev, Krishna, with Vaishnavas, and with Vaishnavas like Sripad Sajjan Maharaj on that level, like this. So, yeah, on this day we're remembering the glories of Vaishnavas of Sajjan Maharaj. Always, again, one of the most sincere devotees that I know, very genuinely sincere. Always trying to help different Vaishnavas. Secretly, he would go and try to help Vaishnavas in different ways. No ego, no pretense, no anything, just sincere. Very humble. He would, like genuinely humble, not like, pretend humble. Some people, they have like the body language and they act all humble. And some people just know, they're like sincere. He was very senior devotee. I mean, he's left, so very old, very senior devotee. But he would go and there's the young people who are the younger than the ages of his son or like the age of his children, and he would be hearing Harikatha from them. He would be trying to learn about bhakti from them, and he would be like very, very, very humble with that all the time. And it's just no pretense. And there's one thing that says Sharalata e Vaishnavata, that the definition of being a Vaishnava is to be very open and simple-hearted, like this. And Sajjan Maharaj, perhaps one of the most simple-hearted, non-complicated people that you know. One of the most non-complicated Vaishnavas, so simple, so sincere in everything. Really, I feel fortunate to have seen a Vaishnava very simple like that. There's like, I guess you have like some of the Vaishnavas that are a lot more in the forefront, and that's their service. Like Srila Gurudev was like a very strong, powerful preacher in the forefront. And then you have some Vaishnavas that are like just as advanced, but they're like in the background. And there's many Bengali Vaishnavas like this that many devotees, Western devotees, don't know, that I see so advanced and so sincere Vaishnava. And Sripad Sajjan Maharaj, I feel he kind of fits in that category of like, wow, if you actually know him, there's some depth there. There's some real depth to his bhakti. And so we, in one sense, we're envious of him. Now he's going to wherever Gurudev's doing his next pastimes in some other planet, some other galaxy. He's being bored there to assist the pastimes of Srila Gurudev and to preach like that. And everyone's going to be like, who's this kid? Right? Why? How is he so advanced? Right? It's like his previous life, Sripad Sajjan Maharaj. If anyone's planning to have kids, watch out, maybe. Like that. Sajjan Maharaj coming. No, who knows where he's going or maybe he's being born in the womb of a gopi in Raj, and we're praying to go with him like this. It reminds me of Ananga Mohan Brahmachari, very famous. Well, not I don't know how famous, but Srila Guru, he had hepatitis C, like the infectious one that tuberculosis, I think it was, and he was dying from it. And Srila Gurudev was his personal servant, serving him. And then Ananga Mohan Brahmachari said, I can see Param Gurudev calling me, Radha and Krishna are calling me, I want to go. And most people would be like, you're dying, no, stay with us, don't die. And Gurudev went to his face and said, please take me with you, take me with you to be able to, in the next birth. So now we live in a very sad world. No more Tirtha Maharaj, no more Srila Gurudev, no more Vaman Maharaj, no more Charikam Maharaj, no more Chidandi Maharaj, no more Avadut Maharaj. No, like this, it's almost like we're a dying clan, right? That's what we have to preach to keep the lineage going, keep it very strong. And it's like, oh, but now they're all going into the next Leela, the next pastime, and we're kind of envious, right? Kind of envious in a good way, right? I don't say that in a negative way. I kind of wish that we could also go and be with them. Maybe again, this time they're going to be born, and by the time we go there, they'll be old again, and then we'll be the young ones. I don't know. Or in Vrindavan, in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Okay, well, that's my smaran, my memory of Sripad Sajjan Maharaj. Vanchakalpatarubhasya kripasindhavevasya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. And let's end this. Also, please share this so other people can see and remember and hear.